Hi there folks, welcome to RRTV's live coverage of the WANC. It's the final round here folks, and we're coming to you live from Road America, and your commentary team tonight is myself, Bernie Weemers, and Adam Briggs. Welcome Adam, we've got another exciting night of WANC action.
Definitely, these Formula Mazda cars, they absolutely scream, they rev very, very highly, and they're very entertaining to watch.
Yeah, they certainly are, that's for sure, and the downforce on these cars are absolutely incredible, and I've spoken to a few guys here, and they just pretty much plant it and go, so it's going to be very, very exciting indeed. Of course, the guys are out there qualifying at the moment, and they get 4 laps, so we'll see them do 3 fast laps as they come across the line for the first time here at Road America.
Just on board with Tim Delisle at the moment. He's on a pretty good lap just now. It's obviously we're just going through qualification at the moment.
That's right. So we're doing quali. The guys are on their out lap now, and then they will start their fast lap very, very shortly. But it's going to be an interesting race here tonight, Adam. Basically 16 laps we're looking at. The cars are fuel limited to 65% at the start, so we're definitely going to see a pit stop tonight.
Yeah, Bernie, I did a bit of research the other night. It looks as if fuel burn somewhere in the vicinity of 1.2 litres a lap. It might be that lap 8, lap 9, somewhere around that. Some guys might go much earlier than that.
Yeah, well, the thing is, the pit window pretty much opens at the start, so we have seen in the past some guys like Gary Hamilton was one, came in pretty much lap 1, filled it to where they needed it to be, and then ran it to the end, because of course the fuel limit is only when you go to the grid. Once the race starts, you can take a full tank on the next pit stop if you want.
It's going to be great to see the alternate strategies throughout the race. Some people will want to get nice and with lots of clean air, like Gary Hamilton did earlier in the season. Some people will obviously want to take track position and do as many laps as they can. It's going to be absolutely great to watch. There's a championship battle too, Bernie.
Yeah, there certainly is. We'll bring that up now, and we'll go through the points, because of course after 12 rounds of the Wankel Australia-New Zealand Championship, it all comes down to tonight, and it's going to reach a massive climax towards the end of the series. And of course this is the last time we're going to see the Wankel guys out here on RRTV, because they're moving back to Smack, which will be a Thursday night. But let's have a look at these points, because there's a lot to play for at the moment. Gary Hamilton's leading on 408 points, Craig Edwards second on 391 points, and Tim Delisle on third with 360. So we don't know who's going to take out this championship tonight, and it's going to be very exciting. Let's hope it's not, it could be as exciting as Newcastle, but probably won't get that exciting. But considering the name of the title, who knows?
Hopefully there's less controversy than Newcastle, Bernie, but yeah, it is tight at the top of the table there. Obviously 4 wins apiece for Gary and Craig. They'll be looking to capitalise and put a final nail in the championship coffin tonight.
Oh, they certainly will, and it's going to be interesting to see who takes it out. Gary is a very good runner, and but don't discount Craig or Tim. They're all very closely matched, and they try different pit strategies, so it's going to be very exciting to see. And of course, for those of you out there that wish to simulcast this event tonight, you can also run the twitch.tv/TopSplitTV, and our old mate Alex McCullough is streaming live tonight, so you can have him on in the background while you tune into the broadcast if you like.
Alex is out on track at the moment and he's striking green livery. Hasn't quite set a lap yet in qualification, but he was pretty competitive in practice.
Yeah, he's very competitive. He loves this car. He's sitting 4th in the points. He actually moved into 4th after last round, and he's on 252 points, but generally you'll see him aiming for a top 5 finish, and no doubt he'll be looking at that at the moment. He's sitting in 12th position at the moment during quali, so a little bit of work to do for Alex.
So far 11 cars have set laps in this qualifying session. It's currently being headed by Gary Hamilton and Tim Delisle in the second fastest slot, but barely a tenth and a bit between them.
Yeah, exactly right. And you can see Gary out there on his fast lap now. We'll bring up the time. So his lap was a 2:02.251, and he's about halfway through his lap now, almost halfway through. Tim Delisle, we'll keep an eye on him. He's further up the track, and he's just been pushed down to third because now Craig Edwards has jumped up to second. So Tim Delisle is going to see if he can better at his target, a 2:02.339, if he wishes to... what's going on here? That's a bit strange, isn't it? My telemetry's telling me one thing, and no, his best time that's been counted is a 2:02.366. If he can better 2:02.339, he'll get second, and if he gets a 2:02.251, he'll take pole.
That's stunningly tight, Bernie. That's a tenth and a little bit, piece of paper maybe, between the top three.
Oh, exactly right. And then you look at Josh Burton, he's 2:02.820 in fourth, but here we go, Tim Delisle coming across the line now, and he did a 2:02.058, which that puts him straight to pole position.
That's actually super impressive to be able to jump that clear. But Gary and Craig still with laps to finish.
Yeah, so Gary's come across. He has not been able to improve on his time. He did a 2:02.307 last time through. So you can see though Craig Edwards, he's out on a hot lap now. We'll see how he goes. All of a sudden pushed down to third. Can he come back now and try to claim pole position here tonight?
Meanwhile, Sami Toikala has actually popped up the order a little bit into fourth as well.
Yeah, so we can see now Craig Edwards coming through, and as you said, Sami Toikala up to fourth. Let's see if he can do this. It's going to be really tight, and he did a 2:02.454 for Craig Edwards. He does not improve. So at the moment, we've got Tim Delisle on provisional pole, Gary Hamilton second, Craig Edwards third, Sami Toikala, as you said, he's jumped into the 2:02s with a 2:02.676, and then Josh Burton with a 2:02.820. But look, Hakon Grebstad, he's also in the 2:02, sitting in sixth, and that's a 2:02.849. So 0.8 of a second is all that's between first to sixth at the moment.
Almost less than a car length, Bernie. That's quite amazing.
Yeah, it certainly is. We can see Hakon out there now on another fast run here at Road America. We'll see what he can do as he comes down to, I think it's Canada Corner that he's coming down to now. I should really get the track map, shouldn't I?
Striking livery he's got on tonight. It's reminiscent of a McLaren from the early 2000s or the late 90s.
Yeah, it's definitely a beautiful livery. I think you're definitely right there about the McLaren livery as he's coming up onto the straight now. He's sitting at 1:56. Time's ticking away for Hakon as he's coming up to the start-finish line now, and he's well out. 2:02.849 was his time, or actually a 2:02.838. He does not improve. See, Craig Edwards is still out there trying to improve in his time. And this is his last lap because they only get four laps here. So he's on his last lap now. So if he doesn't do it this time, it's not going to happen for him as far as the start goes.
I say that car with the black, purple and white's quite striking, Bernie.
Yeah, it's a nice one, isn't it? And 2:02.099 brings him into second. That's pushing Gary Hamilton down to third. So Tim Delisle, Craig Edwards, they will be your first row of the grid here tonight. We'll see now Craig, he's finished and he's going straight into practicing his start as they do. Because, of course, you know, they're so close, you don't want to muff the start here.
The field being so close, whoever can get to turn one cleanly will hold track position. I suspect that'll play a big part in who pits when, how clean of a start you can get.
Yeah, exactly right. And the other thing to keep an eye on, folks, is Fusion Sim Racing have a number of fast guys up there. We're seeing Josh Burden, he's part of the team. Craig Edwards is another one, and you'll see them sprinkled throughout the field. And one thing FSR loves to do in this series is they love to hunt in packs, and they love to put the pressure on. If there's two of them, they'll pour it on that poor person that's in between them or behind them. So it's always extremely entertaining, as we can just hear an accident in the background. And Josh Burden, he's coming into the pits.
Damaged a gearbox or something. That was quite strange. It was a puff of smoke and then that was it.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it's interesting because they're doing lone qualifying, so the viewers may notice it every now and again. If we're watching a car, you'll see a puff of dirt throw up, and that's actually the other car that we can't see until we switch to them. But it still gives you the noise of the other car as far as contact, the smoke, tyre locking, all that stuff. So they could have blown a motor and you've just seen the smoke come out of that phantom car.
Oh, it's a phenomenon I haven't come across before, Bernie. That's learn something new every day.
Yeah, exactly right. And we can see Alex McCullough out here at the moment practicing his run, and of course, you know, we can jump across and we can see his focus. And I tell you what, look at him, he's biting his lip, his tongue's almost hanging out of his mouth here as he's trying to put down the times. And that's one good thing about these live streams, isn't it? Is that you can actually see the person and the concentration that's going to the result they're trying to make. Getting tongue-tied here, Adam.
Yes, I was actually watching Alex's stream before we came on air, and it's actually quite fascinating how him and his mates were talking about what gear, what corner. Everyone was helping each other out, find some pace. I think that's great spirit for guys to be working together like that.
Yeah, well, it's really good for the viewers, and I don't want to lose any of our viewers, but one thing they do, as you said, there'll be 2 or 3 of them in there. You'll hear the radio between them. They'll be talking strategy. They'll be talking about where they are. All sorts of things goes on in those live streams, and they're always great. And of course, you know, you don't have to watch it live. You should watch us, but you know, they do have it on YouTube later, and you can watch it there as well.
Wouldn't want to miss our insights, Bernie. I think we do a great job plugging ourselves.
Yeah, well, you've got to do that. But, yeah, of course, people would know Alex. He calls the Skip Barber Monday Lights with us here on RRTV. There's another plug for you. But we're going to go racing very soon, folks. So let's go through our grid. So on the first row, Tim Delisle takes pole with a 2:02.058. He's joined with Craig Edwards next to him with a 2:02.099. Gary Hamilton will start from third. Fourth tonight, Semi Toykala. Josh Burden, he'll start out of fifth tonight, with Hakon Grebstad starting out of sixth position. Out of seventh, we've got Tim Hendrickson. Brock Kremer, he'll start out of eighth. Out of ninth is Joseph Falcomada. Alex McKellar, he'll start out of 10th tonight, with Russell Clark 11th. Les Peck, he'll start out of 12th. Out of 13th is Mark Noble. Then we've got Dylan Francis in 14th. Alexander Bird, he will start in 15th position, with Simon Pitt closing out our field of 16. So, who's your pick for the win? Let's give you a baptism of fire in this series, hey?
I must say I do like a pole position start. I think Tim's in a very commanding spot. If he can get clean air, if he can get to turn one, still in the lead, I think he's in a fantastic position.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting, isn't it? And of course, keep an eye on those top three. They're all battling to take this series out tonight, so it's going to be very, very exciting indeed. As the revs start rising here at Road America, we'll be racing very shortly for the final round of the Wankel Australia-New Zealand Championship. We are go. I'll tell you what, Tim Delisle got an awesome start. He will come into turn one first, but check out Gary Hamilton, Craig Edwards behind them. Josh Burden also made a great start. He's into fourth and moving in behind his teammate, as it looks like a fairly clean start here at Road America.
Oh, fantastic to see everyone getting clean through turn one. The top three already starting to look on each other there. Definitely getting in the draft. Everyone tucking in to try and get a draft advantage from the draft.
Yeah, and you know how I was saying the FSR boys like to hunt in packs? Well, here they go. We can see Josh Burden now is taking his teammate through the first corner. There's trouble behind us though, and quite a bit of contact. I'm not sure who was involved in that. It looked like it was that Hakon Grebstad was involved, so we'll quickly jump back and have a look at what happened to him, and then we'll jump straight back up the front.
Yeah, Sammy Toikala as well has got massive rear wing damage. He's actually escaped out to the garage as well.
Yeah, so keep an eye on Hakon Grebstad here. Yeah, you got Hakon basically ran up the back of the number 6, and that was Sammy Toikala. No, yes it was it?
Yeah.
Sammy Toikala. Yeah, so he rear-ended Sammy, and that's why Sammy had to go back to the pits. So that turn always causes trouble on lap 1 for whatever reason. I think it's because they're coming down that long straight and braking heavily. But meanwhile, up front, we have Tim Delisle leading Gary Hamilton. But have a look at the FSR boys. They're like a wolf pack. They're sitting in 3rd, 4th and 5th as they try to hunt down the 2 guys ahead of them.
He's just scraped out a little bit of a gap. He'll be trying to break the toe, and he'll be trying really hard early on to do that. The guys behind him, they're all got the advantage of a little bit of toe, so he's going to have to work really hard to get away. I don't think he will, but he's going to have to work incredibly hard.
Yeah, certainly will, and bring that up. So 15 laps remaining here at the moment. Looking at the rear gearbox cam of Gary Hamilton as he's leading this race. Tim Delisle just behind him, and then the 3 FSR teams. But now look at the slipstream kicking in as a 17 closes up, and he's going to have a look on the outside.
Definitely in the draft. He's pulled out. He's having a quick look down the inside. I think he might actually get this done, Bernie. Yep, I think he might have this.
Yeah, well, at the moment he's got his mirrors full of Craig Edwards now. He's having a look on the inside here, and of course these 3 are battling for who's going to take out this series tonight.
I don't think they're going to shake each other very, very quickly here. I think the draft is going to keep them fairly well bunched together. It's an absolutely massive battle pack going all the way back to 5th or 6th, I think.
Yeah, well, it goes all the way back. We've got Tim Hendrickson. He's the last one on this battle pack, and he's sitting in 6th position. So and this is what this fixed series does. It brings on these massive sushi trains, as you could say. I picked that one up from the weekend watching the V8 supercars.
As long as it's not the good old trolley train from back in the mid-2000s, that was always interesting to watch as well.
The trolley train. As now we see Tim Delisle coming into the pits. This is what we're saying, weren't we, about early pit stoppers. Tim Delisle, he is going to roll the dice and go for a very early one. He's done this before, and keep an eye on him, folks, because he will hot lap now out of traffic, and expect him to be up the front, if not leading, when these guys pit.
He's going to have clean air when he comes back onto the track. I think that's probably what he's aiming for here. It's obviously a very vital thing in when everyone else is caught up in a pack. If you can have clean air and do your own pace and you're comfortable in your own pace, I think that's the result he's going to be looking for.
Yeah, exactly right, and we'll get you a split on the pits very shortly. As we see now, Brock Kremer, he's moving up. No, he didn't. He was looking at taking a position from his teammate Josh Burton, and all the while we have Tim Hendrickson just sitting behind these three, trying to work out how he's going to make the move. But having a look at the people that have made their stops, Tim Delisle, he was the latest one, 10.7 seconds. Keep an eye also, Hakon Grebstad, he has also pitted, 9.5 seconds, and Alex McKellar, sitting back there in fourth, has also done his mandatory stop, 12.5 seconds. So we'll keep an eye on that gap as this race unfolds, and that'll tell us if any of those are going to have a factor in this. But meanwhile, Gary Hamilton and Craig Edwards, they're starting to get a gap, and they're making this a two-horse race at the moment.
It's almost 2 by 2, isn't it? You got a gap of first and second are tucked into each other, and third and fourth are tucked into each other as well. It might fragment off, and you might get a couple of different battle packs. This is actually turning out to be quite fascinating, actually.
Yeah, they always put on a great show, and we can see now as Josh Burton, he's trying to stay in that toe, which he will. Magic number is around about 1.2 seconds. After that, they will lose that toe. If they do that, they're going to drop off the end of this train, as we're riding with Brock Kremer as he comes up to the top, maxed out 235 kilometres an hour at the top of the straight.
Honourable mention for Brock, he's actually started 8th position, so to be in 4th, courtesy of a couple of pit stops, but he's right on the main battle pack. He's actually done really well.
Yeah, he's done really well, hasn't he? And the other one I'm trying to find, where is he? Got Josh Burton, Craig Edwards. Where's Craig? Oh, he's leading the race. That's where Craig is. As now Gary Hamilton and Craig Edwards side by side. Gary sweeps across the front of the nose. He takes that position. Tell you what, Josh Burton had to check up there because he nearly ran into his teammate.
Well, cardinal sin of motorsport, never take your teammate out. Josh did everything he possibly could not to take his teammate out, so obviously team priorities were set very well there. Yeah,
well, the thing is with this team, they race hard and they don't really let up on each other either, but you can see, you know, how competitive this team is. It's currently sitting 3rd, 4th and 5th. Just having a look further down the field to see if we've got any battles. See Mark Noble out here. Kimmy Rural Fencing sponsored vehicle. He's done the half black, half white livery.
Reminds me of the BARs. I think it was from 2000 and I could have the year wrong, but there was a BRR livery that was white down one side and blue down the other. It reminds me of that. It's quite fascinating. It's great.
Yeah, it's like that BAR livery was at the Formula 1 and they made them take it off.
Yeah, I don't think they actually ended up racing it.
Yeah, they fronted for one round and they got it on the grid, and then the FIA banned it. Said they're not allowed to have a car that's painted 2 colours, 2 different schemes. So they actually put a stopper to it. But we can see out here Les Peck at the moment. He's having a great battle here with Dylan Francis. They're battling for 7th and 8th at the moment. And as you can see, there's always battles, always all the way through the field. But meanwhile, up front, the battle continues. Craig Edwards, Gary Hamilton. They have not reacted to Tim Delisle's pit stop strategy here. And you can see how Tim can make this undercut possibly work. Because if we look at Tim, he's out all by himself. He doesn't have the draft, but he's not swapping backwards and forwards like the front two are. So he should be able to put in some great times. And if we look at his last time, it was a 2:02.331. Gary Hamilton did a 2:02.342, and Craig Edwards a 2:02.270. So he's not losing any time whatsoever to these guys.
interesting to watch. Brock Kremer, last time by, was the fastest guy on the track by a considerable margin, actually. It was a 2:01.9. That's a massive time.
Yeah, it's a great time, isn't it? And I reckon he got a lot of that, possibly from the toe. But, yeah, that's 0.4 of a second up on everyone else around him. But I think that's the first time I've seen him in 2:01s here tonight. Should also give a shout out to a few people joining us from overseas. We've got Ryan Walker, he's joining us from Northern Ireland. It's great to have you on board, Ryan. George Gibbs, one of our regulars here, joining us all the way from the United States of America. So good morning, George. I hope you're enjoying your wheat bix or whatever you're doing for breakfast this morning.
Gary Hamilton and Craig Edwards are just swapping places here willy-nilly. They're not really blocking each other. It's almost like Tour de France cycling, where someone has a go for a while and the next person gets a draft. There might be an understanding between the pair of them.
Yeah, well, this track, especially in open wheeler racing, it encourages this sort of behaviour because they get such a strong toe. They know that they're going to be swapping twice in a lap, so they don't fight it. Like you can see now, Gary coming through, he's got the toe. Craig Edwards knows he's going to come past. No point fighting at this point because it's just going to hold him up, and they know Tim Delisle is out there running out by himself, and they've got to keep an eye on him as well.
Fastest lap of the race was just set last time by Bernie by Josh Barden at 21:752. 2 minutes and 1:752. I'd say he's probably a bit of a dark horse to watch, actually.
Yeah, Josh is a very exciting driver, and he will be one to play a factor in this race. Generally, though, he's had a bit of bad luck or he's come to grief, so we'll keep an eye on how his race unfolds. But at the moment, he's sitting in fourth. He's looking very, very strong, as we can see ahead of him. He can see the battle continues. Gary Hamilton, Craig Edwards, they're playing nice at the moment, but 11 laps time they will not be playing nice, and it'll be every man for themselves.
Yeah, at some point the niceties will drop, Bernie, I'm sure, and we're not too far away from a possible pit window either. So we're on lap 6 at the moment. I suspect that we'll see pit stop by either lap 8 or lap 9, something like that, if they're running out their full fuel load.
Yeah, well, that's the window you calculated. Of course, you did a few laps around here the other night. How did you find the Pro Mazda?
It's an exciting bit of kit to drive, lots of downforce. I'm used to driving Porsches or GT3s, so it was way more nimble than what I was used to, and I don't think I drove it to its full potential, but I did it for a bit of a feel number, just to get a feel for the car as well, and they're an amazing bit of kit.
Yeah, they're an awesome car, aren't they? And just the amount of downforce they have and how late you can brake into the corners is absolutely incredible. As we can see once again, Gary Hamilton coming through on Craig Edwards to take that position. Further back, we have Josh Burton, Brock Kremer, and Tim Hendrickson from Benelux. He's also a factor in this. And one thing I did notice last time by Adam, and it'll be something to keep a very close eye on, when Craig got past Gary last time along the start-finish straight, Josh Burton, he also tried to get past Gary, and Gary just managed to hold him out. But I tell you what, if Gary gets behind Josh, he's going to have a very, very difficult time taking the fight back up, I think.
Well, it becomes a team battle then, doesn't it? Does Josh help Craig in the championship? I think they're from the same team, I'm fairly certain.
Yeah, they definitely are, and if Josh gets in front of him, that's exactly what I'd say he'll do. This is very reminiscent, dare I say it, of Newcastle with the Red Bulls versus the lone DJR car out there, one could say. But Tim Delisle, he's not part of that team either. He's definitely a factor of taking out this championship tonight.
Just keeping an eye on the split to the lead with Tim. I think when he left the pits, it was 36.8 seconds. That's 37.4 now. So it's about the same, maybe a second in it or less. So holding station, if you look at the split to the leaders.
Yeah, and one thing we've got to bear into account here, his stop 10.7 seconds. That's at the pits. It doesn't include how long it takes them to enter the pit and exit. So 37 seconds, as you were saying, he's going to be right in it when these guys do finally come in.
Shouldn't be too long now. I think we're on lap 8 now, so these guys we might see some pit stops this time by, potentially.
Oh, Josh Burton's been turned by Brock Kremer, and that's going to be an interesting debriefing tonight.
Yeah, Josh got checked up. He was having a bit of a sniff around the back of I believe Gary Hamilton. He didn't quite have the overlap to make the move stick. Checked up, and I think Brock just wasn't expecting the car to slow that quickly. I don't think. Yeah,
no, I don't think he was. As you said, we just saw the replay there. Checked him up, just caught him on the rear right-hand wheel there, spun him around, but that factors Josh out. And you know what I was saying about he generally has bad luck. That continues here tonight.
You don't expect that from your teammate though, so I think that'll be an interesting. I think you're right, Bernie. I think there'll be some. Hey, can you please not do that again?
Yeah, in a really nice way. Dear kind sir, I do not appreciate this.
Yes, that'll be exactly how it goes.
Yeah, exactly right. And of course, while we're riding with Tim Hendrickson here, let's have a look at the points for those just joining us. So as you can see, Gary Hamilton at the moment leads the championship on 408 points. Craig Edwards in second on 391 points. Tim Delisle third, 360 points. So the person who's going to take it will be one of those three. We just don't know what order at the moment, but Craig Edwards leads Gary Hamilton. And I tell you what, Adam, he's just got to sit behind Craig, doesn't he? And if he can keep behind him, he should be able to hang on to this championship.
Well, you got to buy a ticket to the final lap of the race too. So he'll be keeping a cool head at this point in time. He doesn't want to have a Newcastle happen to him. So he'll just want to stay in the battle pack without really asserting too much authority, I don't think.
Yeah, I think so. And you can see Gary now, he's taking the lead again as they swap courtesy of the slipstream of the thing. But have a look at the moment. We'll jump over to the Top Split TV Twitch channel very quickly. You can have a look here. I can't hear him, but you can see Alex there working away, having a chat to the other guys racing, and looking at his splits, having a smile. Every now and again he's probably saying, "Hey mum, look, I'm on TV."
He's on that alternate pit strategy, so we might not see him factor until later in the race, but he pitted early and he's now doing the long stint to the end.
Yeah, he certainly is. And as we go back to live pictures here, and it must be an interesting thing, you know, when you take an early pit stop, you're out of, you know, sync with everyone else. You're way down the back of the field. It must be really difficult to keep your mind on the game. But here we go. Craig Edwards, Gary Hamilton, Tim Hendrickson, Brock Kremer all coming to the pits, and we'll see how they come out. We want to keep an eye on Tim Delisle as he's coming down now. I think it's down to Canada Corner. So just keep an eye on these guys.
Yeah, one thing we did miss was there was a little down at the hairpin before the triple apex corner around the back. I need a track map as well, but Brock Kremer drove it through a gravel trap and gave up a place to Tim Hendricks there as well. But right on cue on lap 9.
Yeah, exactly where you said. And as Tim Delisle now comes through, the guys are still sitting. Tim Hendricks, an awesome stop. He's going to jump a few. Gary Hamilton, one of the slow ones. Here comes Tim Delisle on the outside. He's just not going to have enough. He's going to get third, but tell you what, Tim Hendrickson, awesome stop there. He's jumped up to second position. As we can see now, Tim Delisle on the inside, 2 by 2. They go through turn 2 here. Tim knows he has to make a move now, and otherwise he's going to be battling. But Tim Hendrickson, what a move in the pits.
Fastest pit stop by some 0.6 of a second, so hopefully he's taken enough fuel, Bernie, that he might have done that by just pulling up on the right marks, or he might have done that by short filling.
And Tim Delisle's around.
Well, he'd be a bit frustrated with himself. He just got caught on the outside on the marbles, I think, there, Bernie.
Yeah, we're going to have a look at this in slow-mo. I think you're right. It was right on the outside. Just as he's coming in, you're right. I think he's got caught on the marbles. It's just let go about mid-corner.
Yeah, you're definitely under pressure from Tim Hendricks there. What a great move. Tim Hendricks has done a great pit stop. He's got himself track position, and he's forced a mistake from one of the championship contenders.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. Tim all of a sudden isn't going to potentially factor in the top 2 anyway, but the other thing that's happened is Tim Hendrickson got out in front of Gary Hamilton, so all of a sudden we had Craig leading Gary down in 3rd. Gary's just taken that position into Canada Corner, and now he's on the hunt to close down Craig Edwards. We've got 7 laps remaining here. He should be able to do it. He was only 0.8 of a second behind.
You see him ducking and weaving, trying to pick up the toe of the car in front, wherever that car may be. He's definitely trying to hunt Craig Edwards down.
Yeah, well, he's very mindful, isn't he, that he can't let Craig go, and I think that's why he made that move on Tim so quickly, because he was down to 0.8 of a second, that gap. If he got out to 1.2, that slipstream would have been broken.
Well, he's pulled it right into 0.3 now. That's amazing what one straight's worth of great slipstreaming can do.
Yeah, watch him now. I reckon he'll be leading by the time we get down to the end of this straight into turn 5. It's an interesting circuit, this, because they actually count halfway down Moraine Straight. There's a slight kink, and they count that as a corner here.
It's amazing what the world of motorsport counts as corners, Bernie. I've seen some strange track maps over the years. I think even Bathurst, you can count it about 3 different ways, I reckon.
Yeah, you're probably right there. It's interesting. I don't know what determines what a corner is on some of these layouts, but we'll jump with one of these drivers and we'll take you through a tour of turn 4, and the viewers can agree or disagree if they think it should be counted as a corner, although no one's going to listen to us anyway.
Maybe it's like a committee or a panel that sits around and discusses these things, Bernie. I'm not sure. It's certainly a bit of a non-event of a corner, that's for sure.
Yeah, as we see one place that's a very good event corner, if we could say that, is Canada Corner. It's delivering tonight as Craig Edwards takes back the lead from Gary Hamilton. Now Gary's going to get the toe up Road America Straight, as they call it. And all of his contact behind them too. That was Brock Kremer and Tim Delisle into the wall.
That was quite spectacular, actually.
Certainly was. Have a look at the car. There's nothing left of it. Let's jump back and have a look at how this unfolded. But Tim Delisle's having a shocker, isn't he?
He had it all composed, and he was out running his own race and got tangled in with other people now, I guess.
Yeah, well, he got 2 wheels up on the grass, which we can see. He was actually on the grass. What's happened here? You can see now, yeah, he's just losing it on the grass himself, and he's come across on Kremer. And, of course, they've contacted, but massive impact. Yeah, huge impact there, but have a look at Tim's. He's ripped the whole front of that. You can actually see the brake, what do you call them? The brake bodily things. So there you go, another technical term.
Master cylinder reservoir, I think, maybe?
Yeah, that's the one, the two little white cuppy things. And Brock tried to reverse up there, but meanwhile 5 laps to go. Craig Edwards and Gary Hamilton. You can see now Gary's starting to do the old weave. This is when the gloves start coming off, isn't it? And they get down to the business end of this race. 5 laps to go. Gary Hamilton, Craig Edwards, Tim Hendrickson. They're your top 3. Then down in 4th we have Josh Burden, Joseph Falcomata battling it out for 4th and 5th. Further down the field in 6th is Hakon Grodstad and Dylan Francis, also having a close battle. 8th, Mark Noble, and he has Brock Kremer just behind him. Brock's looks like he's running without the fast repair. Yes, he is. Then we've got Tim Delisle. He has used his fast repair. Back in 11th, we have Russell Clark having a great run for Team Milo. We haven't seen much of him tonight. Alex McKellar hunting him down in 12th. Then we have in 13th Simon Pitt, Les Peck sitting in 14th, and we've had Alexander Bird retire, and so has Semi Toikala.
Yeah, Sammy retired fairly well into that first lap incident, so but back up the front, so we've got Craig Edwards back in the lead again. Interesting, the pace of Tim Hendrickson, he is right there with them.
Yeah, he is, isn't he? I have a feeling he's just biding his time. What do you think?
Not this lap, but the last lap round, he was actually the fastest guy on track. So I think he's sitting a car length back. I think he's just having a wait. He's having a wait and see what these guys are going to do. Are they going to throw kitchen sinks at each other? And he might pick up a position or two from that.
Oh, he's just about lost it back there. Good save there by Mr. Hendrickson. He got the old tank slapper going there, and thought he was going to lose it.
Definitely commentator's curse. I'll take responsibility for that one, Bernie.
Yeah, when you're talking about kitchen sink and he was going to catch something, I thought he might catch a spoon or a cup that comes flying out his way.
Yeah, Gary Hamilton full defensive just then, I think. So yeah, the gloves are definitely off. The race is definitely on. They're no longer being Mr. Nice people. So it's going to get seriously spicy in the next couple of laps, I think.
Oh, there goes Gary Hamilton. That's spicy, all right.
That's 2 from 2. I'm putting the mocker on everyone.
We'll have to get you up in the booth more often. We'll get you to call all the people you don't like and they'll all crash.
Well, I like everyone, Bernie. It's all good. But bit of rear wing damage there for Gary Hamilton. He'll probably soldier on. Hopefully it doesn't have too much of an impact on his lap time. Championship implications might be a bit awkward.
Yeah, well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because out of the 3 contenders, we have 1 leading, as we just saw that impact there. And you're right, he's got a lot of rear wing damage. Be interesting to see if, well, he's going to try and get to the end with that, because if he pits, any hope is dashed.
He's just going to have to limp it now, and I think hopefully it's not really hurting his top end speed. If it is hurting his top end speed, he's going to be a sitting duck for Josh Barden and Joseph Falcomata.
Yeah, we'll have a look at his top end speed, but now it's coming down to Craig Edwards, Tim Hendrickson. Tim's basically sitting here watching these guys go each other, and he's just moving up through the field. So I think he's in a really good position as well. 3 laps to go, sitting there in second. If he can get on that slipstream up Road America Straight on the last turn there, it's going to be interesting. He may snatch this win.
Speaking of championship hopes, Tim Delisle was actually the fastest person around the track that time by. He'll probably be a little bit disappointed with how the race has turned out just thus far, I imagine.
I'd say he would be, and having a look at the points implications here, folks, bringing that up now. Gary was leading. He's sitting down there at the moment, I think in 3rd, trying to get it home. Tim Delisle, he was in 3rd. He's currently sitting down in 8th position, trying to work out if he can gain. I think any hope of him getting a top 2 tonight, I think he'll be more now settling on that 3rd. But it's whether Craig or Gary can hang on to the championship.
Tim could be the real upset of the night here. If he overtakes Craig, that'll really help Gary in the championship battle.
Yeah, exactly right. And we can see now Tim once again, all 4 wheels on the grass. He doesn't want to do that too many times. They've got a 20 incident limit cap. But not only that, we've seen him a few times get a bit ragged, and we're sort of, he's only going to get away for that for a little bit. But having a look at Gary Hamilton here, he's peaking out at 225 kilometres an hour. Josh Burden, well, we didn't get a time on him. Let's have a look at Hakon as he's come through 226. So his top end speed is not being compromised that much.
Well, that's great news for Gary. All he can do now is do his best and get to the end, and hope that Tim and Craig throw a few kitchen sinks at each other.
Yeah, well, I think the bathwater's already been thrown out with well, that's a baby. I get them mixed up.
Yeah, well, it's easy to do when the action's happening, but yeah, definitely. He's having a bit of a look here is Tim.
Yeah, we're going to ride with him as he goes up Road America straight here. I reckon we'll hear him lifting, because we're going to come down 2 laps remaining here. We should be on the last lap this time by, and I reckon he's not going to show his cards until the end of the next lap. See what he can do. See, he's not close enough. You can see Craig trying to break that slipstream. At the moment, the slipstream's just kicking in now as they go through the start-finish straight. And yeah, as I was saying, he's now lifting. He's decided he does not want to be leading this coming in to the final corner.
Timing his run, I would imagine. Hopefully Tim, he could even be just really happy with the result as well. Second's outstanding. He started 7th. He's had a great charge throughout the field. He's shown some incredible presence to take advantage of some situations. He might just be really happy with the result.
Well, it could be. We'll see what he does now as he comes through the elusive turn 4. Now he's making a move too wide, and what's he going to do? Back out? He's happy with second, but he'd be happier with first, I think.
He's having little nibbles. He's not really being super committive with these passes or pass attempts. Maybe if he can apply a bit of blowtorch, probably the more likely thing is Craig maybe putting a wheel off or making a small mistake to open the door for him.
Yeah, well, just like the way I like my steaks, it's going to get juicy very quickly, I think.
For sure, it's certainly heating up. Tim Hendricks was 0.2 of a second faster than Craig Edwards last time by the timing marker. So we'll have to just keep watching it. I think there's going to be, lots of games in the slipstreaming zone right here. Very defensive.
Yeah, Craig's going to say if you want this, you go around the outside as they come into Canada corner. Last time by, and I'll tell you what, Tim almost ran it into the kiddie litter. He is a lot closer this time. Let's ride with him as we come through onto Road America for the last time. What's he going to do? He jinxed on the inside. This is going to compromise his exit into the grass and into the wall. That was your fault. As we see. Sorry.
I seem to keep doing that, don't I?
Oh, well, we're riding with him. Look, he's got suspension damage as he puts it up onto the wall. Did you see that finish? He put it up. He nerfed it up on the wall and went across the start-finish line sitting on the pit straight wall.
I have to admit, I actually probably missed that. I'll grab a read.
Yeah, we'll bring this up and have a close look at this. You can see him coming through. He's trying to hang on to second. I'm going to see if we can get a better angle. Yeah, here we go. So there's the start-finish line. He's up on the lid. Now he's doing what you do with skateboards. Now he's off, yeah, so he actually got it back on the track before he got to the start-finish line.
I think Tony Hawk would be very happy with that set of tricks.
Yeah, it was pretty good, wasn't it? But the winner tonight, folks, goes to Craig Edwards. Gary Hamilton, he almost snatched second, but I don't think he did. You can see he's pretty happy, he's celebrating, so the championship looks like it's going to go to Gary Hamilton tonight. Look at that, he's just done a donut and he's broken the rear suspension, would you believe?
Open wheel cars, yeah, they definitely get a bit fragile in the old suspension, don't they?
Yeah. So looking further down, we can see Brock Kremer, he's in the pits, and so are the others. So, sorry folks, we didn't get to see the rest of the guys come across the line. But tell you what, Adam, it was an exciting end to this race, wasn't it?
Well, it had absolutely everything. We had cars grinding a wall, Tony Hawk style. We had several different leaders, lead changes 2 and 3 times a lap. It was just fantastic to watch these nimble, high revving, high downforce cars.
It certainly is, and it's great to see that this series came to such a close ending here tonight. Of course, the WANC folks, this is the last time you're going to see it for a bit, I think, because the organisers, they're moving back to the SMAC series, which will be the Star Mazdas. They won't be broadcast by us because they'll be on a Thursday night starting next year, so this will be the last time for a little while. We'll probably have this sort of action on RRTV, Adam.
Yeah, look, fantastic while it lasted. It's a great series with great people and a great car. Obviously, tracks like Road America certainly help as well. Slipstreaming and battle packing, it's what open wheelers in low capacity open wheelers is all about.
Yeah, exactly right, and they always put it on. I just like open wheeler racing, and you see the Skippies A race like this, a Star Mazdas. When the fixed series comes on, it'll be as close as this. And of course, this season the Pro Mazdas had their crack at the championship. But let's have a look at the final race results, so you can see where your favourite driver ended tonight. If they got a mention from either of us tonight, they're probably crashed out somewhere, but let's have a look. So Craig Edwards, he takes the win. Having a look at the laps led here, he led 8 laps, up 1 position. Gary Hamilton come home in second. He led 7 of those laps, so the laps are only led by those two, up 1 position. Tim Hendrickson, although he crashed out at the end, he moved up 4 positions to finish in third. And then we had Josh Burden coming home in 4th. Joseph Falcomata also moved up 4 positions to finish in 5th. Hakon Grebstad classified in 6th position. Dylan Francis finishes in 7th, and he moved up 7 positions. Biggest mover so far. Tim Delisle down 7 positions from where he started, finishing in 8th. Probably the biggest loser or shaker tonight. Russell Clark comes home in 9th. Alex McKellar pretty much finished where he started in 10th position. Simon Pitt moved up 5 positions to come home in 11th. Les Peck finishes in 12th. 13th tonight was Mark Noble. Brock Kremer, he comes home in 14th. Then we've got Alexander Bird 15th, and Semi Toikala retired after the first lap incident we saw at the start.
Yeah, really unfortunate for Sammy. He looked like he was going to have a pretty good race tonight, but unfortunately, racing does happen.
Certainly does, and it was awesome racing too, wasn't it?
Oh, it was all going on. I'm surprised there wasn't more damaged front wings. The guys actually drove really, really, really well without damaging the cars too much, apart from Tim in the last 200 metres of the race. But absolutely fantastic. There was a lead change just about most straights, and that's what slipstreaming battle pack in open wheelers can do.
Yeah, definitely, and that's what the excitement is about this form of racing, isn't it? But speaking of excitement, let's bring Gary Hamilton up, and we'll have a bit of a chat with him. Hi Gary, welcome to RRTV Combox, mate. Firstly, is it congratulations? I think you've held on to the series after tonight's effort, but commiserations on that incident you had with Craig earlier on tonight.
Hey, g'day fellas. Yeah, thank you. That's the championship there. So, coming in here, obviously, I had a 17-point lead, but that one's pretty easy to lose. So I had all the equations written out of what could and couldn't happen, and I knew where I was. The incident that would have been interesting if that had implications for the championship, but it didn't. So where I was at that point in the race, I could have finished fourth actually and still won it.
Okay. Yeah, we weren't sure of the breakdown, so we were very excited on the edge of our seats here, and we're holding our breath because we saw Brock get into the back of Josh there, and we thought at one point you looks like you were the lonely DJR driver out there trying to go up against 3 Red Bull cars.
Yeah, I thought that in my head as well. I'm even painted sort of, a bit of red in there, so that's a worry.
But it was an awesome race. You must have been, apart from that coming together with Craig, you must have been having a lot of fun out there with these boys tonight.
Oh, yeah, Bernie. I mean, it always is. This series is, it's a really fun series to run, with the fixed sets, the massive tows you get. It's almost more about driving mistake-free, which I certainly didn't do tonight, but not so much being the fastest. You've seen it time again where, you'll see it in quali, who's quick by themselves, but it really doesn't matter. I mean, if you're, a second, even a second and a half, you're going to be in the tow. So if you don't make any mistakes, you'll be there.
Yeah, well, it's a great series, the Wank series, because we've been watching it now for 12 rounds. You guys have been going at it week after week, and it finally reached a climax tonight, and what a climax it was.
Yeah, as fun as it is, this race was kind of funny because, up until this point, you don't sort of think like, championship, whatever. We just do it for fun. But that's the whole point, is to win it. So when I came in with a points lead, like I said, I had a few equations worked out. See, I'm not sure if many people know the bonus point system. So you get a point for pole, you get a point for leading a lap at all, and you actually get 2 points for leading the most laps. That was created to try to stop people just sitting in the tow and saving fuel. But to be honest, I think a few people may have forgotten it, and I certainly wasn't going to mention it until after tonight.
Yeah, well, looking at the laps led, Craig led 8, you led 7. So that's how close the racing was tonight. And, of course, the WANC series finishes tonight for this season, and I think you boys are going back to the Smack series next season.
Yeah, I think that's right. Actually, Bernie, if Craig led 8 and I led 7, then that was actually a little bit closer than I thought because I had 17 going in, but then if he led the most, that would have been down to 15.
Yep.
Now, first to third is a 15-point gap. So if I'd actually finished where I was, we would have been equal on points. And if Craig won that, which he did, the count back would have been 5-4, I believe. So by Tim crashing in that last corner, that was the championship for me.
Yeah, and I tell you what, I didn't think you were going to catch him because he had all that damage on that car, and he also tried to grind it up the wall there at one point. But I didn't think you were going to catch him up until he hit the wall the second time.
Well, I probably wouldn't have, but he was actually out of fuel as well.
Okay. Well, isn't that amazing? The series came down to that one incident at the end of the series on the last lap. So that bodes well for how close this series has been for this whole season, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it always is. And, especially with Craig as well. So big shout out to Craig. I mean, he would be, I can see he's written a message there and he's just heard what I've said and he's like, oh my God. But, I didn't know that either. I actually thought I was comfy in third. I thought I'd led enough laps, but there you go, 8-7. So that is lucky. Last corner, last lap. You can't get much more luck than that.
Exactly right. It was an awesome race tonight, and probably one of the better ones we've seen in this series, I think. We've seen a heck of a lot of good ones, but tonight, to have it decided like that in the last corner, and I'll tell you what, you should go and buy Tim a beer, I think.
Hey, no, I already bought him a carton. Oh, no, wait. I mean, no, I haven't. I don't know who that guy is, I swear.
Yeah, they reckon you slipped him a $5.
See that.
You see the conspiracy's already starting, you know. I don't know, this is going to be on Speed Cafe tomorrow. This whole thing, it's going to blow up, you know that, don't you?
Oh, for sure. Bloody hate mail, bring it. I'm good to go.
Yeah, all the fans are going to be ripping at each other. They're going to be saying, you know, I don't know. Anyway.
No doubt. I mean, the fans, so many fans.
That's it. They love this racing, that's for sure. But anyway, Gary, we should let you go soon. Good luck for the Smack Series next season. We won't be covering that, of course, but no doubt it's just going to be absolutely awesome racing. But before we let you go, do you want to give a shout out to your sponsors?
Yeah, absolutely, Bernie. Thanks. So, yeah, big shout out to Dynamic Sim Racing, making all that awesome sim gear. 12wheelpower.com. So, as I spoke about before, Will Power's clothing line is just coming out. He's got a few things in there, which is pretty good. So, 12wheelpower.com's the address. Go check it out. And a mate of mine at Darling Downs Ballistics, he makes bullets. So, if you like shooting things, check that out. Big shout out to you guys. It's awesome to watch this stuff. It's really good fun. Huge shout out to Trent for, creating this series and putting all the effort in. And of course, big thanks to Craig and Tim. Not Tim, who I paid off tonight to crash, of course, but I mean Tim Delisle. We've had some excellent battles this year, and it was great fun. So thanks a lot to everybody. Yeah,
fantastic, and the other Tim's quite happy to accept that $5 by the looks of it. No, it's been a great series, and definitely right there. Big shout out to Trent Thomas. He's the man behind the series, and he's a driver of FSR. He hasn't been driving for the last half of this series, but he has still been putting in all that hard work behind the scenes. So, without his work, we wouldn't be here tonight calling such a great race. So, and of course, Tim Delisle, what can we say? He had a bit of a shocker tonight. I think he would have consolidated third. He came home 8th. Alex McCullough behind him 10th, so he'll consolidate third tonight.
Yeah, that was a bit surprising to see him make that error there. I wasn't disappointed at the time, but it's a shame for him. And and a big shout out to Tim. I'm sorry I can't remember your name, Hendrickson. I don't know about Craig, but he certainly surprised me. I didn't know where he came from. So he was running a really good race till that last turn.
Yeah, it was an awesome race, wasn't it? I think Tim, not sure where he's from, might be from Brazil, I think. I'm not quite sure on that, but we'll definitely check on that. But anyway, Gary, thanks for popping in, mate, and congratulations on taking the series by probably about a point, I'd say.
2? 5, I think.
5 points, there you go. All right, you better go and celebrate, mate, and just carry the cup past the FSR boys a few times and show them what a winner looks like. How's that sound?
Will do, mate. I'll head down the pits now.
All right. See you, buddy. Tell you what, if I talk like that, we're not going to get out of here alive, you know, Adam. You there, Adam?
Sorry, just missed that, Bernie. A bit of a drop in the communication there. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I said if we keep up these cheeky things, we're not going to get out of here alive. But obviously, you weren't listening, so you should be fine.
Well, I think Twitter would be blowing up right about now if it's anything like Newcastle. The accusations and the conspiracy theories.
Yeah, it was a bit of an opposite though, wasn't it, in a way? But I tell you what, coming down to Tim Hendrickson's crash at the end, if he hadn't have done that, we would have been back to count back and it would have gone Craig's way.
Had a sneaking suspicion Tim was going to play a role in this. Obviously, he was having a fantastic race. He set the second fastest lap of the race. He was on many occasions the fastest person on any given lap. He was definitely there to make an imposition on the race. I just didn't realise what sort of spin he'd put on the result.
Yeah, is that a pun? Definitely did put a spin on that result. But he was a spoiler, of course, tonight. He was sitting 26 in the championship. Absolutely nothing to lose tonight. And he was up there and he was playing a factor in deciding who was going to take it out tonight. Yeah,
Tim definitely was able to grind out a good result. Definitely pun intended.
Fantastic. But anyway, folks, that is bringing us to the end of the WANC coverage here. But if you like the video, give us a thumbs up and try to get the word out. We're trying to about our great channel. And if you didn't like it, leave a comment. Let us know what we can do to improve it to make your viewing more pleasurable here on RRTV. But of course, looking forward to the week, tomorrow night, we have a very special challenge series coming up, and that's going to be at Eldora in the Dirt. We've got the IRFF, the top 12 drivers from the Speedway series. They're taking on the top 12 drivers in the Anscar Thursday Night Thunder series. They've come to a compromise here. They've gone, okay, we're going to race on dirt for the Speedway boys, but we're going to race in the trucks for the Thursday Night Thunder boys. So we'll be covering that tomorrow night, folks. So it will be fun. It's going to feature a hot lap. We're going to have qualifying, and heats, and then it'll finish off with a final, and we'll see who is the king of the dirt tomorrow night. But then if that's not enough for you, tune in Friday night. We've got the Australian Online Supercar Championship coming back. It's a 60-60 round, which basically means 2 sprint races of 60 kilometres each, and then, of course, we've got the Skip Barber's Australasian Super Skips on Sunday night, and the Skip Barber Monday Night Lights will be back on Monday night for the final round of that season. So we're going to start wrapping up soon, Adam, but there's still a lot of racing to go before Christmas turns up.
Yeah, the season's coming to a close. Lots of championships are being decided. Some would say it's even the best time of the season, Bernie.
Yeah, well, you know, it's when the gloves come off, and as a commentator, reporter in the media, we love our little bit of whatever you want to call it, you know, hype. Get on that gravy train, sell it for all it's worth, that stuff. Anyway, on that note. Anyway, folks, thanks for joining us here on RRTV. Thank you also to you, Adam, for jumping in. And this is your second commentary broadcast tonight, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, number 2. Definitely starting to get the hang of it. Slightly smoother this time. I'm sure with more practice it'll get smoother and smoother.
Oh, definitely. No, it's been a pleasure, folks. Hope you've enjoyed our coverage. And until next time, on behalf of Adam Briggs, I'm Bernie Weemers. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow night. Good night.